Marjorie Taylor Greene was being interviewed by Alex Jones, and she said the only reason that Congress is going to be as closely divided as it is was because of, yep, you guessed it, election fraud. She's trying to get us to believe that there was some funny stuff going on with the races again and with the ballots, and that's why some of these House races aren't going in their favor. And it's looking like they are probably going to have the House with a very slim majority, much like what they have now. And that the only reason it wasn't a landslide in the Republicans' favor was because of some massive fraud. Now, some people think that there was fraud going on and it was the other way and that Elon had something to do with it. I have not seen any credible evidence saying that there was. And if there is evidence, I would love to see it. But it's just weird that she wants us to believe that Democrats were somehow able to commit fraud down ballot this time and not do anything top of the ticket. But in 2020, that they somehow had this massive operation to pull all this fraud in and commit all this fraud and give Joe Biden the presidency, and 4 years later somehow forgot to do it on that kind of a scale. It doesn't make sense. And besides, if they had the capabilities of doing any sort of fraud, don't you think the Democrats would have control of all three branches? Just saying. If they actually were able to do any of this, and I don't believe there is any fraud either which way. I think we have free and fair elections. And I think that the reason the results turned out the way they did is because a bunch of people didn't vote for president in one way, for one reason or another, chose to skip certain races for one reason or another. And I think that's why we ended up where we were. But that being said, this whole thing makes no sense. It's just Marjorie Taylor Greene running her mouth, trying to excuse away the fact that they're not as popular as she thinks they should be, and that some of their favored candidates didn't win, like Kari Lake in Arizona. Things like that. Can't be the fact that, she's just unpopular. But, she wants you to believe it's fraud. It's not fraud. There's no evidence of fraud either way. Just their arguments make no sense, because if you take half a second to think about it, you come up with multiple arguments as to why it wouldn't have happened. But, they don't take that half a second to think. They just say whatever, because they know at least a certain percentage of this country will just believe and repeat anything they say.